Hey all, today we're going to talk about ScienceofSpeed's Sport line of clutches. That includes the Sport 275, 350, and 500 hybrid. These clutches are a great match to either your factory-powered NSX, supercharged NSX, or turbocharged NSX like these three behind me here. So let's first talk a little bit about torque capacity. So all of the ScienceofSpeed clutches are rated by torque capacity. That's the number in their names. We have the 275, 350, and 500 hybrid. Now 275 foot-pounds is good for about 350 horsepower at the wheels, depending on the dyno. Now that's perfect for a all-factory NSX or even a mild supercharged application with about 100 horsepower gain. Next up we have the Sport 350, again 350 foot-pounds of torque, good for about 450 wheel horsepower. That's a good match for a more aggressive supercharged application or even a turbocharged application up to about 450 wheel horsepower. Lastly, we have the 500 hybrid. This clutch has a special hybrid disc that allows up to 600 wheel horsepower. So that's a good match to a more aggressive turbocharged application. Now, all of these clutches can handle greater than their rated torque up to about 75% of their wear. So they're actually capable of holding more horsepower, but we give that rating to give enough allowance for the full lifespan of the clutch. So let's next talk about the anatomy of the ScienceofSpeed Sport clutches. I have this clutch here that I'm going to take apart so I can show you the various components. Let's start off with the flywheel. This multi-piece flywheel has been designed by ScienceofSpeed to not only improve the sporty characteristics of the NSX, but also to give good drivability characteristics. This flywheel has pins that allows everything to be kept on centered for good balance. It has a steel starter ring, double disc ground, steel friction liner, and aluminum body. The complete assembly when it's manufactured is dynamically balanced, so we can maintain good balance not only for smooth driving, but also balance for the rest of the rotating assembly in the engine. This disc is the disc used in the Sport 275 and 350 clutch. This disc has an organic facing on both the pressure plate and the flywheel side, as well as these encapsulated dual rate springs, which reduces shock to the drivetrain. These facings have a double row of rivets, improving burst characteristics, and something really special to this disc that not many have, especially in the aftermarket, is a steel-backed facing that also improves the burst characteristics. It also has a Marcel spring on the inside of the two facings, which aids in that smoothness of the initial engagement. Now this disc is the one used exclusively in the Sport 500 clutch. This disc is very similar to the 275 and 350 disc, with the difference of a hybrid cerametallic facing on the flywheel side. That improves the torque capacity up to 500 foot-pounds or about 600 wheel horsepower for those more aggressive turbocharged applications. Next, we have the pressure plates. Now, this pressure plate is actually very special. We source this pressure plate from Honda's OEM supplier in Japan. It's very expensive, but it is the highest quality pressure plate that you can buy. And as far as I know, ScienceofSpeed is the only company that uses this high quality pressure plate. This pressure plate is the one used in the Sport 275 clutch. It's the same pressure plate that's used in the later model NSX, and with ScienceofSpeed's designed flywheel and discs, we can allow this pressure plate to be used in all NSXs. Now this red pressure plate starts out as this one. It's disassembled, and using Centerforce's patented ball bearing release design, we're able to improve the clamp force of this pressure plate to improve the capacity of the 350 and 500 hybrid clutches. Now that ball bearing design allows not only smooth engagement, but it also gives us the full amount of travel so that we don't need to modify the factory hydraulics. Now these clutch kits are 100% complete, and what I mean by that is everything that you need to install them is included in the kit. We include the same release bearing from Japan used by Honda, same pilot bearing, we include a installation tool, and we include new flywheel bolts. Everything that you need for installation is included with these kits. So regardless of the power your NSX makes, ScienceofSpeed has a clutch for you. By using these OEM-grade components and partnering with the best in the industry, ScienceofSpeed has been able to design a clutch for a variety of horsepower levels that's engineered to last. So we're here in ScienceofSpeed's Dyno Test cell with this beautiful 1995 Midnight Pearl NSX. Now this NSX has ScienceofSpeed's TVS supercharger installed. It makes about 375 wheel horsepower. It was the perfect match to the ScienceofSpeed Sport 350 clutch. Now the reason I brought you in the dyno cell is the dyno cell has two 32-inch rollers. So to get the car in and out of the dyno cell, you have to drive over those rollers. It's almost like driving over a curb, and it's a great test to show you how smooth the clutch is to engage. So come check it out. Now, when we designed the ScienceofSpeed Sport clutches, we spent a lot of time on drivability and smoothness of engagement. The reason being, of course, the clutch pedal is one of your direct interactions to the car, so you want that to be as smooth as possible so you feel like you're really connected to the car. So there's three things we spent a lot of time on. The first was the flywheel design. We've optimized the weight so it's easy to drive, but still gives you a much sportier feel compared to a factory clutch. We made sure that the disc contact surface is double disc ground and the flatness is double checked during manufacturing. The next thing is the friction liner on the disc itself. Now we experimented with different compounds to achieve a compound that's smooth to engage, but is also very durable. And the last thing is the Marcel spring that's sandwiched between the two disc surfaces. When the pressure plate compresses against the disc and compresses against the flywheel, that Marcel spring helps in that smoothness to engage, but if the surfaces aren't parallel, you'll get a lot of judder and shudder that's typical with an aftermarket clutch. So I'm going to drive the car over the front roller so you can see how smooth it is to engage and how easy it is to modulate. Now, this is the Sport 350, so it does have that modified pressure plate, but the pedal effort is minimal. It's only about a 10% difference over the 275 or an OEM clutch. Most people can't even tell the difference. You can see how easy that was to engage and modulate. It's as smooth as an OEM clutch. With nearly 20 years of experience with the NSX and over 10 years with the Sport clutches, we have a high performance, top quality clutch for every NSX. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at ScienceofSpeed.com.